Hello, it's Willie from the Ozarks. I'm ready for our January 3rd lesson in A Course in Miracles workbook for students. Lesson 3. I do not understand anything I see in this place. I do not understand anything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Let's just go ahead and read what it says about it. Apply this idea in the same way as the previous ones without making distinctions of any kind. Whatever you see becomes a proper subject for applying the idea. Be sure that you do not question the suitability of anything for the application of the idea. These are not exercises in judgment. Anything is suitable if you see it. Some of the things you may have emotionally charged meaning for you. Some of the things you see may have emotionally charged meaning for you. Try to lay such feelings aside and merely use these things exactly as you would anything else. Keep that in mind. Some of the things you see may have emotionally charged meaning for you. He says, try to lay such feelings aside and merely use these things exactly as you would anything else. So try to apply the idea to everything indiscriminately. Just the fact that you see it. Say, I do not understand anything I see in this place. The point of the exercises is to help you clear your mind of all past associations, to see things exactly as they appear to you now, and to realize how little you really understand about them. It is therefore essential that you keep a perfectly open mind, unhampered by judgment, in selecting the things to which the idea for the day is to be applied. For this purpose, one thing is like another, equally suitable and therefore equally useful. I do not understand anything I see in this room. I can actually, if I was outside, I would say anything that I see in this place, but I can actually say, I do not understand anything I see in this room since I'm in a room today, on this street, from this window, in this place. So wherever you're at, just be able to emphasize the fact that you do not understand anything that you see. We're learning to have an open mind and not have our lives be associated with past judgments, traumas, even successes. We just want to just be an open mind to let what is be. Okay, so I do not understand anything I see in this place will be what you'll do today, and you'll just look about yourself. I do not understand this wood stove. I do not understand that guitar back there. I do not understand that camera. I do not understand this book. I do not understand that wall. I do not understand that firewood. I do not understand those books. I do not understand anything I see in this room. So, as we did yesterday, there's no specific amount of time you need to spend, but just look around throughout the day. Be sure to apply it several times during the day. You don't need to take but a minute or so, and look around and tell yourself, I do not understand anything I see in this place. And then as I told you before, I like to encourage all the people that are following in my way here, or the way that we're kind of doing it, my interpretation, maybe I should say. I hope this is Jesus's way. But, do take a little bit of time in the quiet every morning and every evening. And you be the judge. Make sure that you feel good about it. It shouldn't be a burden for you. Just a little bit of time quietly. All right. We are going to take a look at our Manual for Teachers reading. And we're also going to go back and take a look at a few highlights in what I hope you've already read I'm going to hope that you've already read to about page 8 in the text. So I'm just going to read through some things that I highlighted that I'd like to bring attention to. Probably won't say a lot about them because we don't really have a great deal of time to do so. But if you've read it, that'll suffice. So let's start off with the very first principle in miracle. There is no order of difficulty among miracles. I emphasized how that's an important concept, but it's no more important than any of the other ones. But it is one that I wanted to bring your attention to. Third principle, miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. Fourth principle, you will be told all you need to know. Isn't that nice to know? You just need to learn to stop and ask. Miracle principle 6, miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something's gone wrong. Miracle principle 8, miracles are a form of healing. They supply a lack, and they are performed by those who temporarily have more for those who temporarily have less. Miracle principle 12, miracles are thoughts. All right, remember don't underestimate the power of thought. As we go along in our understanding, we're going to realize that everything visible is a product of thought. Okay, miracle principle 17, miracles are the transcendence of the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from the sense of lower order reality. That is why they heal. Miracle principle 21, miracles are natural expressions of total forgiveness. Through miracles, man accepts God's forgiveness by extending it to others. In Miracle Principle 22, he says this, the escape from darkness involves 2 stages. I want you to keep this in mind. First stage, the recognition that darkness cannot hide. This step usually entails fear, to think that darkness, that you can't hide anything, that nothing can be hidden. This step usually entails fear. Then the second recognition that there is nothing you want to hide, even if you could. This step brings release from fear. So keep those in mind. Miracle Principle 23, miracles rearrange perception and place the levels of perception in true perspective. This heals on all levels because sickness comes from confusing the levels. Wow, confusing the levels is where sickness comes from. He also goes on in that Principle 23, when you have become willing to hide nothing, you'll not only be willing to enter communion, but will also understand peace and joy. Miracle Principle 24, miracles enable man to heal the sick and raise the dead, because he made sickness and death himself and can abolish them, abolish both. You are a miracle, capable of creating in the likeness of your Creator. Everything else is only your own nightmare and does not exist. Miracle Principle 25. Miracles are part of an interlocking chain of forgiveness, which when completed is the atonement. In Miracle Principle 26, the slogan for the crusade is listen, learn, and do. Listen to my voice, learn to undo error, and do something to correct it. The first 2 are not enough. The real members of my party are active workers. The power to work miracles belongs to you. I will provide the opportunities to do them, but you must be ready and willing, since you are already able. In Miracle Principle 27, he says, you are the work of God, and his work is wholly lovable and wholly loving. This is how a man must think of himself in his heart, because this is what he is, loving. That's how we must learn to think of ourselves and our brothers and sisters. In Miracle Principle 31, he says, God's creations never lose their holiness, although it can be hidden. The miracle uncovers it and brings it into the light where it belongs. Holiness can never be really hidden in darkness, but man can deceive himself about it. This illusion makes him fearful because he knows in his heart it is an illusion, and he exerts enormous effort to establish its reality. The miracle sets reality where it belongs. Miracle Principle 33. Miracles honor man because he is lovable. They dispel illusions about him and perceive the light in him. They thus atone for his errors by freeing him from his own nightmares. They release him from a prison in which he has imprisoned himself. And by freeing his mind from illusions, they restore his sanity. Oh, the power of miracles, or right-mindedness. Miracle Principle 34. In it, he says, it is the duty of the released to release their brothers and sisters. Miracle Principle 36. In it, he says, you're free to establish your kingdom where you see fit, but the right choice is inevitable if you remember this. The soul is in a state of grace forever. Man's reality is only his soul. Therefore, man is in a state of grace forever. All right, well, that'll bring you to Miracle Principle 37, which is on page 9. So let me encourage you today or tomorrow, before we come together again, read the rest of the chapter. That was the first half of the chapter. Hopefully you've already read it. If not, read that. And then read the second half of the chapter to the conclusion of chapter 1. We're ready for chapter 2 tomorrow. We're just going to talk about some highlights that I want you to think about just by what which I just did. All right, now let's go take a look at, let me put a bookmarker here so I'll remember where we're at tomorrow. And let's go back in the Manual for Teachers and take a look at who are God's teachers. We'll read that one together. We're going to read all the Manual for Teachers together. It was a little chilly this morning, and it snowed. It was down to like 12 degrees. I thought about going ahead and sitting outside. The sun's shining. There's snow on the ground. And I would have gone ahead and done it outside, except my horses were sitting in the spot I wanted to sit. And you would have had a great view of the horses, but I'm afraid they would have pestered me to the point where I wouldn't have been able to have done my due diligence in communicating. Okay, in the Seed Savers Exchange, I did want to talk about, as you're turning the Manual for Teachers, who are God's teachers, which is on page 3 of the manual. As you're turning there, let me just tell you about the red Russian kale in the Seed Savers Exchange catalog. It's Brassica napus. Most of the kales are Brassica oleracea, but this is a Brassica napus, a different species, and it's called Red Russian, one of the hardiest and most tender-leaved of all kales. This variety, also known as Ragged Jack, is originally from Siberia and was brought to Canada by Russian traders around 1885. Its beautifully frilly, purple-veined, blue-green leaves are tinged with red-purple and resemble oak leaves. Vigorous plants grow 18 to 36 inches tall. Leaves have a mild, sweet flavor, hardy down to 10 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. 50 to 60 days from transplant. Isn't that something? So that'll withstand some cold weathers around here in the Ozarks. Next winter, I hope I can show you it growing right in here in our garden. I'll be sitting out beside it, growing it, I hope, even after the snow's coming. Another cold variety is, and it's a Brassica oleracea type of kale, and it's called Scarlet. Remarkably attractive kale with red-veined, frilly, tightly curled leaves. Scarlet is a vigorous performant with good cold tolerance. Begin harvesting leaves when young and allow plant to grow well into the early winter. 24 to 36 inch tall by 24 inches wide. 60 days from transplant. Okay, so there's a couple kales that I hope to get some seed for and grow in the garden. I'll be hanging around the garden and by the fire on these cold days as we do these, and you'll be able to see some of these things grow. But right now, as we're preparing for the garden, we're sitting in here by the fire and learning about which seeds we want to gather up and be ready to plant. All right, in the manual for teachers, who are God's teachers? A teacher of God is anyone who chooses to be one. His qualifications consist solely in this: somehow, somewhere, he has made a deliberate choice in which he did not see his interests as apart from someone else's. Once he has done that, his road is established and his direction is sure. A light has entered the darkness. It may be a single light, but that is enough. He has entered an agreement with God, even if he does not yet believe in him. He has become a bringer of salvation. He has become a teacher of God. So how do you become a teacher of God? It says that he has somehow, somewhere, made a deliberate choice in which he did not see his interests as apart from someone else's. Once he has done that, his road is established and his direction is sure. A light has entered the darkness, and it may be a single light, but that's enough. He's entered an agreement with God, even if he does not yet believe in God. He has become a bringer of salvation. He's become a teacher of God. Isn't that a beautiful definition of a teacher of God? Someone who sees his interests as one with his brother and sisters in some point, somewhere. He's entered an agreement with God and become a teacher of God. Paragraph 2. They come from all over the world. They come from all religions and from no religion. They are the ones who have answered. The call is universal. It goes on all the time, everywhere. It calls for teachers to speak for it and redeem the world. Many hear it, but few will answer. But it is all a matter of time. Many will hear it, but few will answer. But it's all a matter of time. Everyone will answer in the end. But the end can be a long, long way off. It is because of this that it's so far off, that it can be so far off. It is because of this that the plan of the teachers was established. Their function is to save time. Each one begins as a single light, but with the call at its center, it is a light that cannot be limited. And each one saves 1,000 years of time as the world judges it. To the call itself, time has no meaning. Paragraph 3. There is a course for every teacher of God. The form of the course varies greatly. So do the particular teaching aids involved, but the content of the course never changes. Its central theme is always, God's Son is guiltless. Oh my goodness. And in his innocence is his salvation. Okay, let's make sure we get this. The content of the course never changes. The form changes. It says the form of the course varies greatly. There's lots of different ways to God. But so do the particular teaching aids involved. Lots of different teaching aids. But the content of this universal course never changes. Its central theme is always, God's Son is guiltless. And in his innocence is his salvation. It can be taught by actions or thoughts, in words or soundlessly, in any language or in no language, in any place or time or manner. It does not matter who the teacher was before he heard the call. He has become a Savior by his answering. He has seen someone else as himself. He has therefore found his own salvation and the salvation of the world. In his rebirth, is the world reborn. And paragraph 4, last paragraph for today. This is a manual for a special curriculum intended for teachers of a special form of the universal course. There are many thousands of other forms, all with the same outcome. That's why this is not called The Course in Miracles. It is called A Course in Miracles. What's he say? There are many thousands of other forms, all with the same outcome. They merely save time. And this is a manual for a special curriculum intended for teachers of a special form of the universal course. There are many thousands of other forms, all with the same outcome. They merely save time. Yet it is time alone that winds on wearily, and the world is very tired now. It is old and worn and without hope. There was never a question of outcome, for what can change the will of God? But time with its illusions of change and death wears out the world and all things in it. Yet time has an ending, and it is this that the teachers of God are appointed to bring about. For time is in their hands. Such was their choice, and it is given them. All right, I think we'll stop there. Let me put a little marker in here so we'll know where to pick up tomorrow. Who are their pupils? And once again, let us take a look at our lesson today. I do not understand anything I see in this place. So say that to yourself. I do not understand those books. Kind of looking at what you all be seeing. You all be seeing when I get off here, be sure to take this to heart and look around your own room, around outside your view of the screen, and tell yourself, I do not understand anything I see in this room, from this window, from this street, or on this street, in this place. I do not understand that world flag that you can't hardly see because it's behind the wood stove and the hot water tank. But I just want to give you a little encouragement. Be sure to do these lessons and do this one, do it 4, 5, 6 times today at least for a minute or so. No big deal. And have fun at it. I do not understand anything I see in this place. So until tomorrow, thank you all for joining me. Peace.